What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today, ZEC USD. It is the 9th day of February, and here we are, guys, sitting at about $237, 6 days, 8 hours left in this week. We've got about closer to like 7.5 hours left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about this here. First and foremost, I think it's obvious that what Zcash is going through is a correction overall, right? A very massive correction for a very massive move. Typically, whenever you move up in this fashion, nothing moves in a straight line. You're going to spend months consolidating. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Consolidation phases typically are comprised of A, B, C patterns. Typically, not always, but typically. Like a three-legged pattern or some type of flat running like this, triangles, stuff like that. 1, 2, 3 ABC patterns are typically very symmetrical. Not always exactly symmetrical, but from a high to a low, we put that at that same high there. This low is not pinpoint accurate with this low, but it's pretty damn close. Like they're pretty damn close to each other. Anybody who measured this way and then they bought at this low or just below this low, you're doing pretty good for yourself in the grand aspects of where to invest in Zcash, when it was a good time to buy, right? These are some of the better prices to buy that we've seen in months. And it's probably a really good time to buy now. I do have confidence that this could be the low. You found support not just from this ABC style correction, but right here at prior support here. You also, let's just see if we zoom out. Let's go on the weekly time frame. From your low here of this platform area before you sent it through the roof, low to high, you bounced right off your 382. On a daily time frame, you literally closed right at your 382 and then wicked below it, which is very normal, and then came back up. This is a really good look, guys. This is healthy. This is good stuff, and you're respecting the 236. I think we're on the right train of thought here. Maybe, is that the right low to take? I would think it is. Should we take this low? This could be the low. You did show pretty good respect to the 236 there and the 069 kind of, but you just missed the 382. I don't know. If that's the case, then you have a little bit lower to go, 171. But I think this is appropriate. I think this is an appropriate, completely appropriate fib range to take because this is the base before the move. This was your base overall, but this was your base before the move. So I think that makes sense to me. And you're respecting the 236 and the 069 and the 382. There's more respect here. More respect means you're probably on the right train of thought. Okay. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll zoom out. And then we'll finish this video up talking about ZEC, BTC, just to see if there's anything promising there. So looking at this here, it is the 9th again. $237 is the price. We've been pretty boring since Friday. Not really doing a whole lot. 1 hour RSI, stochastics, MACD, they're all bearish. 4 hour time frame, kind of a more neutral, even maybe a slightly bullish look on the 4 hour. More bearish on the stochastics and bearish on the MACD. I wouldn't be surprised from here if we did pull back, if we came down. And probably you'll go just below these lows. I bet we go just below 225. I doubt we go below 217, but if we do, we likely still hold support at 209, 204, something above $200. I doubt we go below $200 again. If we do go below $200 again, maybe we were looking at this fib the wrong way. Perhaps that isn't the low. Perhaps this would mark the low, and that would be somewhere around 171. It's not uncommon to wick below there, so maybe even just below there. It could happen. It could happen. You look at that level. I mean, there's plenty of resistance back here at that level, and just turbulence all in all. We put a white line right there. Like literally resistance right there, support, 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 tons of respect right at that level. If we were to go lower, that would be where we'd go. But regardless of that, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I think that we're in a low area for Zcash, regardless of if it hits that line or not. I don't know if this is the low. I'm calling for this to be the low, but if this goes a little bit lower, maybe not that much lower, but if it goes a little bit lower to the 382, my feelings aren't going to be hurt. Whatever. That's fine. It's fine. You'll find support instead of at support at prior resistance. That's fine. It's not a big deal. All in all, I do think you're in a low area support zone, and Zcash is probably ramping up, this is really weird for me to say, but it's probably ramping up to see new highs, relatively speaking. And it's weird to say because Bitcoin is in a bear market. It's really weird, you guys. Either that or Zcash is going to plummet through the floor, but I don't think that's what's happening. We'll see. Daily time frame here. Let's go back to the 1 hour. 4 hour, that's what it was. We were on the 4 hour. Then I got distracted. Are we building bullish momentum? We kind of are right here. I don't know. The 1 hour is more bearish for sure. I would have no problem assuming that we go lower. The 4 hour, it's a bit more neutral, and there are some bullish implications, but I still feel very confident in calling for lower prices. I would say something around 225 to 210. We're at 238 now, so nothing crazy, but a little bit lower than this range, a higher low overall, and then we can start to move up. A lot of cryptos have like their 786, 886 recently. If we do go below $200, maybe we find support there. But again, if we get that low, I would just assume we go probably to like 170, something like that. Daily time frame. RSI is bearish beyond all belief, but you've reset. You're deep in the oversold zone. You're reset. You know, you've cooled off. If you are in a downtrend, I think that you are lower lows, lower highs. When this breaks, that's going to be the first sign that the momentum is shifting, that this consolidation phase is coming to an end, right? Your whole consolidation phase here is basically your whole downtrend in the RSI. When this breaks, this will likely break too, right? Stochastics actually don't look half bad here. I don't like the MACD. Weekly time frame. Bouncing right off the 40. It would be, I think it would be really nice to see this week close green, because if this week closes green, we get a bounce off the 40 on the weekly RSI. Stochastics can start to cross back up, and the MACD can taper off a little bit. I mean, really, guys, we pumped right through the roof. You're finding support, at least for what it looks like, finding support at prior resistance at your relative 382. Things look really good for this to be a low. And again, if it's not the low, you're very, very close in proximity to the low. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we continue to move up afterwards. I mean, this weekly RSI, it's not pretty, it's not perfect, but damn, you know, damn it if you're not at that low area of this trend line where you've been finding support. You look really good right here. I mean, anytime that you've bought at this trend line here, this green line, when the RSI was here, you bought at every relative low that we've had since 2023. Relative low. That doesn't mean the lowest price, just relative lows. If this is a relative low, I would assume at least we'd come up and form like a double top. But more likely than not, I think we're in a bull flag. We're probably going to break out, send it to higher prices. The institutions piled in on Zcash, you guys. We're in weird times right now. Bitcoin can be in a bear market, and Zcash cannot be in a bear market. We've seen Caspa, while everything else was in a bear market, do a 1000x. It literally did over a 1000x. And that's because institutional involvement was there. There was institutional involvement with Caspa from early stages. BlackRock was mining it. They were involved heavily. There's institutional involvement with Zcash. Same concept, right? You don't need to obey the laws of normality with this. You can see Bitcoin in a bear market and Zcash is not in a bear market. That can happen, especially with how held down and held back altcoins have been. We take it in that context too. Zcash in particular has really been held down and been consolidating its whole life. It's been in this consolidation phase its whole life. It just broke out. And now the bear market starts? I don't think so. I think it just broke out. You're testing yourself, and you're probably going to continue. Probably. Assuming this is the low. Notice how if I put this line here, you're at 1091, but if I drag it down, you see how it goes higher? If I'm assuming that, that this is the low, then it's a conservative estimate, because if I'm wrong and there's a lower price, these targets will only be higher. I hope that makes sense. I don't know how much sense that makes, but I spoke it as plainly as I could. High to low here, let's see. Let's see. Well, our 1414s line up directly. That's kind of nice to see. I don't know how much respect we typically show on the 1414. 1886 all the way up here. 2618 in there. I would say from here, $238. There's going to be a lot of turbulence in this area of $1,300 to $2,600. You break above that, and then it's basically like this area. That's your next zone. Is what it looks like. But it can be various different things depending on how it all plays out. I'm going to take away this fib because I just feel like it's a bunch of noise right now. I'm going to use this fib. The primary target zone is the 1272 to the 1618. Based off the other fib that we saw, I don't think that we stop at the 1272. I think we'll probably at least get to 1300, if not above. Bitcoin's in a bear market. Zcash here at $240. can rip all the way up to $1,300. You guys, that's a 5.5x move in a Bitcoin bear market. That's awesome. That's phenomenal, man. It's good enough to sell the high and then wait and buy back on the low. But imagine if you sold your Bitcoin, wherever it is you were for the bear market, or you sold your cryptos, whatever it is you're holding for the bear market. You're looking to DCA into some coins as the bear market progresses. You've got a project right here that genuinely has like 5.5x prospects from its current price. If not there, then maybe something on the lines of like a 7.5x or a 7.2x. Something above $1,000, I believe, is what's coming next for Zcash. You're at $237 now. I think that there's some interesting prospects here. Was it the 3-day time frame? That was interesting too. Yeah. Since like February of 2024, 2 years, okay? The RSI, and even before, we still showed respect here, but there's, sometimes we got a little bit more oversold. Here, right there, just above it, right there, just above it, right there. Like, we found so much support throughout all these times. Low, relative low, relative low, relative low, relative low, probably, right? Relative low. At worst, at absolute worst, we come up and we get a lower high. And if we're seeing signs that we're going to turn around, guess what? We're at 237 right now. Before this, if this thing stops here, you're going to go above $400 before it goes back below $300. So you'd still be in the profits. We'd be able to tell that we're probably going to go lower and that we're not breaking out here. There'll probably be signs. And we'll use the RSI and other indicators to help us kind of decipher those signs. Decipher. Let's look at the Zcash BTC chart and see if there's anything promising here. We're on the weekly time frame. Hold up now. I can't turn that off. I don't know what happened, guys, but I have an Android phone. I can't turn the vibration off. Anytime I get a text now, there's no silent mode. There's no silent mode. I don't know what happened. Is that an update, or is there something just screwy with my phone? I can't make it silent. It's always vibrating. It annoys me. It annoys me so much. So if anybody's watching and you're hearing the vibrations and you're thinking, just turn it on silent. I can't. I literally can't. I'm a tech savvy guy, and I can't do it. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, maybe I need to try harder. Connecting the dots here on the lows, we're at the proper trajectory. Zcash BTC. This is not the US dollar price. This is Zcash priced in Bitcoins. It's a good thing to behave well and look good on this chart, okay? Stochastics are reset entirely, okay? MACD is bullish overall. I'm not getting a whole lot off of that, but the RSI, I think, is giving us the most here because you're right at this point where we bounced before. We're right around the 50. It looks pretty good. Daily time frame. You had bullish divergence, but you kind of still do, kind of. I don't know if I'd call that bullish divergence, but whatever. The RSI, no bullish divergence there. Stochastics are a little bit bullish at this level. Double bottom look. I mean, I really don't mind this. It looks like, again, you're in this giant kind of consolidation phase. Oops. Your volume's dying, so you're about to break out one way or the other. I don't think it's going to be to the downside. I think it'll be to the upside. Typically, patterns like this, at the top of a move like this, you continue going in that same direction, typically. Bitcoin's in a bear market. That could hurt your chances, maybe. We'll know. I mean, if you break this at all, we'll know that Zcash likely is going from here to like 170 or lower. If that's the case, we'll know, because a break like this, we'd be able to see the end result from here. You know what I mean? But we're not there yet. All I mean is we'd be able to see the end result coming from this level. Like if we break below, that would then be the call. But I think that we will break out to the upside. I want to look at is it the weekly, the 2 week? Okay, yeah. I want to look at the all-time history. Let's do this. Okay, so from a high here, not your all-time high, but just from this discernible high here to this very discernible low here, you went right up near your golden ratio zone. Should I put it at this low? Is that a scam wick? Should I keep it at this low? I don't know. Is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. I'm just gonna count it, even though it is a big wick. That's definitely a scam wick. I don't know if this one is. I mean, it could be. This makes sense on fibs. in my opinion. But this also kind of looks normal to some degree. You're finding resistance. Maybe we shouldn't use the fibs, because if I'm having a hard time, just screw it. We won't use the fibs. You're finding resistance here at prior resistance. You're now finding support here, right, at prior support and kind of at the focal point of this consolidation phase here. Consolidating, winding up. If we were to break out, where would we go next? What would the next phase higher be? Probably something up here. It's like a 7x versus Bitcoin. See, but this makes sense. This makes sense. This is like an 8x versus Bitcoin. Why does this make sense? If Zcash is in a bull market and Bitcoin's in a bear market, and what I'm calling for from a high to a low is that Zcash will see a 5.5x to a 7x move, 5.5x to a 7x move. If Zcash did an 8x versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin's in a bear market, Bitcoin might go lower, Zcash goes up in value, the ZEC BTC chart will stand to gain the most. And maybe you go a little bit higher than this. I don't know. I think we're onto something here, man. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I'm just going to leave it at that. Zcash 237 now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think it's a good time to buy. There's nothing wrong with stacking cash and waiting for other opportunities. There's nothing wrong with that, but try not to chase things in this environment, right, in this bear market environment. Because again, if you're not buying Zcash here, but then it pumps up here, there's a chance that we get a lower high and that we reject there. So if you're not going to buy, don't buy there. Just keep stacking cash. If you want to buy here, but you're like, I might go a little bit lower, there's nothing wrong with waiting, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Just don't chase, okay? I do believe from this price, we will see something above $1,000, likely $1,300 to $1,800. If I had to guess, before June. I don't know when, but before June. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.